Now, Paul F Tompkins is like the funniest guy on the planet. I've seen the Paul F Tompkins show at Largo like 6 to 8 times. Mike's seen it 1,000 times. This guy's hilarious.
It doesn't really sound like a big number.
It's unbelievable. 6 to 8 times.
It doesn't really sound.
He only does it every 10 years.
He does it every month for 6 years, I think. I want to say.
Not 6 years. Wait, don't. No, he'll talk about it when he'll talk.
But 6 to 8 times doesn't sound like a lot.
What? Oh, look, what I say?
How many times you see Naked Trucker Show?
6 to 8 times! I see everything 6 to 8 times!
Then I guess it is a lot, Mike.
That's a lot for me!
I'm sorry.
I'm seeing movies all the time!
That's
unbelievable.
True. That is true.
All right, here's the thing. Now we want to show you this thing called Sketch of the Dead. Now, Sketch of the Dead was this really funny thing that actually Mike Rodman did. Mike Rodman, Sketch of the Dead, who was with Paul F Tompkins.
And Ben Acker.
And Ben Acker.
All right.
And I've seen his show 5 to 7 times.
No, I think you've seen.
I was working a lot at the time, and I could only see it 5 to 7 times. So let's check out Sketch of the Dead, and then we'll bring out Paul F.
Okay, the door is secure.
So are the windows.
I think we're gonna be okay till morning. Do you want to sleep the first shift?
Yeah, I can do that. But listen, Paul, I gotta run something by you. If those zombies do get in here, if they get past the barricade, I need you to promise
They won't, okay?
No.
We're gonna make it through this.
I know, but if we don't make it through, and if I don't make it through, then
No,
I need
listen, man. We're gonna make it
You
through, okay?
listen to me? If the zombies get in here and they bite me, and I start turning into one of those brain-eating monsters, then I want you to promise me.
All right, I'll do it, okay? I'll do it. If you get bitten, I will put a bullet in your brain before you can turn into one of those monsters.
No. That is not what I want you to promise me. I want you to promise me the opposite, that you will not shoot me.
What?
Whoa! Not giving it all away.
Boy, oh boy.
Got to say something for Adam.com. That's where you can see it.
I've already seen that, and I want to go to Adam.com to see the rest of it.
Paul F Tompkins, everybody, come on!
Oh, yeah.
If there was a bandwagon in the middle of this room, I would be on it when it comes to Paul F.
I think that's just because of the space limitations, right?
Exactly.
I think we'd all be on that bandwagon.
Now, Paul.
Yes.
Seriously, I don't know if you've seen Tangled, but this short thug in Tangled steals the movie.
Wait, I have something to tell you.
What is it?
I don't obviously didn't sit through the credits. I played that short thug.
No.
Yes. I did some voice acting. I did. How many lines? I think I had 5 lines. I did all of them. I went to the a guy named one of the directors, Nathan Greeno. He's a guy who comes to my Largo show regularly and asked me if I would be willing to do a voice in that, and I was like, yeah, absolutely. And it was one day's work going in there and just kind of like I was there for an hour and just did a bunch of different reads on everything, and then my wife and I just went to the premiere the other night, and I'm so happy to be a part of this thing. It's like, it really blew me away.
Yeah, it's terrific. And we had no idea that. We're talking just before the movie. We're talking about the show. It's like, yeah, Paul F coming, and then we watch the movie and the credits run, and your name goes up, and the two of us did one of those what moments. Yeah, it was
because
great.
the animated films, obviously there's such lead time to it. I mean, when did you record the voice? It must have been a
year and a half ago.
I swear it did not feel like that long, but I guess it was. I have no, it's the Los Angeles disease is that you lose all concept of time because there are no seasons. So that was I either recorded that 2 weeks ago or 5 years ago, but I could not tell you for sure.
So you go in there, they give you the lines. Do they allow you to ad lib? It's a small part, so maybe they do, maybe they don't.
A little bit. I actually I contributed a joke to a visual joke to the film, where there's a scene where my character is behind a door. Someone's trying to get access to the door, and a little slot in the door slides open, and I ask for the password, and the guy says something, and then I say, no, that's not the password, blah, blah, blah. So I contributed the idea that between each exchange, I would close the little slot again, and which they had not been planning on doing. But I was very happy to see that.
That's
in the
great.
Film.
Now, did they show you what your character would look like? Did they show it on paper?
Yes, they showed me a little drawing, and there were little figurines of everybody, and it was I was very excited.
But there's no Short Thug action figure.
Not yet.
Is there a Short Thug spin-off?
From your lips to God's ears.
Can you imagine?
They are. It's funny because it's there's as you know, there's very few parts in this movie. There's 3 main parts.
Yeah.
And then everybody else has like a couple lines. So guys like Jeffrey Tambor, he has about as many lines as I have, but he's Jeffrey Tambor and I'm me. So
even the 2 brothers are. I mean, they're a big part in the movie, but there aren't that many lines.
No. It's quite something.
Yeah.
But that's what I liked about the movie. Not to digress too much into the movie, but what I liked about it is that they spent time with the main characters. They spent time with them.
Yeah.
They were on this adventure. They stayed on the adventure. You got to know them, and that I found that kind of heartening that they would do that.
It didn't attack you with all those pop culture references that so many of those films have done.
Yeah. Well, that's my problem with animated films like that, and I won't name any specific series of animated films, but the idea that, we'll throw in jokes like that for the parents, who have to be there. And I feel like, why don't you just make the movie good?
Yeah.
And then the parents will be happy too.
Yeah.
It's not like the kids need to, those stupid kids, they'll just watch anything, and then the parents are stuck there. It's like, well, if you make your movie better, then you won't have to worry about the parents being miserable.
And also, all those pop culture references, they may not work when you see it on DVD.
Exactly.
3 years, 4 years, 5 years
Or
down
when
the line.
the movie finally comes out, from year to year, it's like, who was that again?
Who was that Sarah Palin? I forgot about her. I don't know who that Sarah Palin was. My God.
Have you watched Aladdin again lately? Nothing makes sense in that movie.
There's like an Arsenio reference.
There's an Arsenio Hall reference in there. What?
That's just dreadful. So I want to talk about, once he stops laughing, what I want to do is...
Done.
Welcome back to Charlie Rose. I just want to talk about the comedy. Now, when you came to L.A. from...
Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Now, did you come to be a comic, or did... Whoa, Philly in the house. By the way, Philly fan?
I'm not a sports guy at all.
Oh,
I'm
whoa,
sorry.
interesting. Why is that?
Yeah.
Not into it?
Yeah. Nobody's ever asked me why I don't like sports.
It just seems weird for like a guy to not like sports.
Oh, I have a disease. I bet you're sorry you asked now. Oh, I've tried to like sports, but it's my biology.
All right, so you...
Can't do anything about it.
Oh, I've tried all kinds of shots and pills.
There's experimental treatments now. It's like dialysis. You go in there and they drain your blood and replace with blood that likes sports.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
So did you come to LA for comedy?
I came to LA seeking my fame and fortune in the performing arts. I'd done stand-up for Philly for 8 years. And I started right after I graduated high school, and there was like a comedy boom that was happening at the time that I started. So there was a ton of work, and then that boom stopped happening, and then it was a bust. And then I realized if I really want to go for this, I got to go for it, and I moved out to LA, and then eventually started working in television and film. And yeah.
I used to like jazz.
Look, some people used to like not knowing the truth about things. But I am a truth teller, and I shed the light that needs to be shed on certain things like jazz music.
Yeah, it's your fault. I hate it now. It's all right.
But like when it comes to comedy and writing, is it a sit down and write process? Is it a thing where you think of something, jot it down, and
I try to keep track of funny ideas as they come to me. That whole like sitting down and writing like it's just I'm just going to be funny for an hour by myself, at this table. That just seems impossible to me. That's when you're really like looking around like, what's funny about tables? What's funny about carpet? What light fixture jokes can I make? That's where I would be going. Some people, that's their discipline and they're able to do it, but I still feel like they're lying a little bit. Like you have to start with something. You have to bring some ideas to that blank page. You can't just sit down and say, what is a funny thing to write about, and then all of a sudden be writing. It's a lie. It's also, it's not a job like that. It's a thing that's built around inspiration. And I think anytime you are going to say from 3 to 4 today, that's when I'm going to have inspiration. I think you're asking for trouble. You know, it's one of those things that if you're a writer of any kind, you're sort of thinking about it all the time.
Yeah.
You know, so for me, when the writing happens, it's like if I have a set to do. That day is when I will organize my thoughts and my ideas and everything, but I will have already been thinking about this stuff, you know. But I have to make bullet points or make a sort of skeleton of the ideas that I'm talking about, and then work it out on stage. But
do you find that there are certain things that put you in a creative frame of mind, triggers that sort of help you focus, that remove the distractions?
No. There is nothing that removes the distractions, unfortunately. And I think that is also the dirty secret of writing is so much of it is procrastination. So much of it is looking online, watching TV, whatever. And I find that's actually where a lot of inspiration ends up happening, because now that you're taking the pressure off of yourself, sooner or later your mind starts to wander, and then you start sort of accidentally writing. You know, does that make any sense? It's like that's what I found for me is that I have to stop staring at that blank screen because then it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
And even so, like I at the show that I do at Largo every month, I always have a sketch, and I do like some stand up, and then I always have a sketch with a guest. And the writing of a sketch to me is the most impossible task in the world. Even after I know what the idea is, I've written out the beats of the sketch, all I have to do now is like type it up and make the dialogue happen. I know what the story is going to be, I know how it begins, how it goes, and how it ends, but just even doing that is like, I want this to already have been done already and performing it. It's like a lot of writers, I don't like writing, but I like having written. Mm-hmm. But boy, oh boy, to get to that part, you have to do the writing. Thumbs down.
But now, you know, in the new media age, there's different ways to get yourself out there. Now you got a podcast.
Yes, which has very little writing. That still has one sketch. But the great thing about the podcast is that it can be whatever you want. That's what I love about that medium, is that it's really, there's no rules, there's no sponsors, there's like nobody that's telling you it has to be a certain thing, and there's no time restrictions, so it can be as free form as you would like it to be. And I've done 4 episodes of mine. It's a monthly thing, and it's gotten longer, I think, by 5 to 10 minutes each episode, because there's a lot of stream of consciousness stuff that happens in it, and that is something I might need to take a look at, because it cannot continue at this pace.
Because writing is rewriting.
Yes, because it's like by episode 10, it can't be a 4-hour podcast because I am just talking and talking and talking. Although maybe it will be.
Hey, so to find this podcast,
yes,
you would, let's say,
it is. You can go to iTunes. Or you can go to other places if you're a weird person who doesn't like iTunes. It's called the Paul F Tompkins. It's very clever. There it is. There's a little picture of me in 8-bit form. And yeah, it's on iTunes and Libsyn and all the usual places. But I've really enjoyed doing it, and it's been a great way to connect with people. Now at shows that I do. A lot of, because I was doing live shows where people were coming up and saying, I found out about you through this other podcast, you know, from me guesting on something. And that's when the penny kind of dropped, like what a great tool this is to connect with people. And also it was something I enjoyed doing, like guesting on other people's. And once I figured out what I wanted to do with mine, it's just become my favorite thing to do.
So basically you're a polyglot.
What? Ooh.
What?
I've always wanted to use that in a sentence, and Paul F is here. He's a polyglot.
And
that's like a hyphenate?
He writes.
Same thing as a hyphenate.
Right.
Just a fancier word.
Actor.
Does the stand-up.
I do that stand-up.
Directs.
Sings.
No.
I do not direct. I will have to take that pinky away.
Now
I
you're just
apologize.
Renaissance.
He's a Renaissance man. He's been downgraded to it. However, he's the funniest goddamn Renaissance man in LA. That's all I know. And that's all that matters. So, all right, so you got the podcast, you got the Paul F Tompkins show, you got the Tangled.
Yes.
You're doing good.
Everything's good. I got no complaints.
No, very good. Okay, now you, of course, We wanted you on here because we wanted you to be a part of Celebrity Try This at Home.
Yeah.
That looks like Mr. Yuck.
That's what I said. I said that
Yes.
last week. They never heard of Mr. Yuck.
He tells you not to drink dishwashing liquid.
It's don't. In other words, it's don't try this, and we try it.
Oh.
Spin. You see what we did there? Corey with the graphics. Boom.
I got my eye on you, Corey.
Oh boy.
So your Celebrity Try This at Home pick was...
Yes. The Wrong Guy, starring Dave Foley. It was written by Dave Foley, Dave Higgins, and Jay Kogan. And it is a movie that never found a distributor in the U.S., and so never had a theatrical release here. I first saw it at the Aspen Comedy Festival in 1998 or 9. And I saw a screening of it with an audience, and I laughed. I don't think I've laughed that much at any movie since then, where I could not believe how funny it was. It's just like packed with so many great gags and performances, and really, really funny movie that a lot of people have not unfortunately seen.
Well, this is what DVD is all about. I mean, a lot of people don't realize this, but just because a movie makes it to theaters doesn't mean it's a good movie. And conversely, movies that don't make it to theaters are very often better than the ones that do, and DVD lets you discover those movies.
I think that the stigma, like the direct-to-DVD stigma, is maybe unfairly applied to some things.
It's starting to go away.
I think it is.
It's starting to go away.
I think it is, yeah. The edges are kind of blurring a little bit,
Yeah.
you know.
And now you're seeing Oscar-winning actors, not to get too far afield from The Wrong Guy, but now you're getting Oscar-winning actors
Yeah.
starring in direct-to-DVD films.
F.
Quite a
Murray
few.
Abraham.
F. Murray Abraham.
Jeff Bridges.
Jeff. Oh, what's
Yeah.
his?
There was one just this last year. It was before. It
yeah.
was before he.
Before Crazy Heart?
Before Crazy Heart.
That sounds
yeah.
familiar, but I can't
Yeah.
remember the name. But yeah.
Yeah.
Forrest Whitaker.
Forrest Whitaker.
Now, I would say Cuba Gooding Jr., but you know what? It's over.
Yeah.
He had his moment. He jumped up and down at the Oscars, but man, has it been a tough road for that guy.
That was a weird slide. That was a weird and very fast.
Yeah, weird and fast slide.
Oh, boy.
So, you know, what I liked about The Wrong Guy, which I had not seen, actually, so I thank you for the recommendation.
You're welcome.
And you know what? It was funny. It was, you know what? It's one of those movies that is, it is like professionally silly.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah.
not like Kentucky Fried Movie, which I love Kentucky Fried Movie, but where it's sort of all over the place.
Yeah.
This is like, it is a very Zaz-esque,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Zaz-esque,
Right.
airplane-esque movie where they're just always throwing gags at you.
Yeah.
And in fact,
But they're calculated gags.
Oh, yeah.
It's not sort of let's make a list of gags and let's build a movie around the gags. They're organic to the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's funny. There are moments when it goes both ways because, like, there's a scene in the film where Dave Foley's on the run because he's been accused of a murder, X, Y, and Z.
He thinks he's been accused
He
of
thinks
it.
he's been accused of a murder, and at some point, because he's on the run, he's got to hop a train. And there's only one reason he's hopping a train.
Right.
Is because there's a sight gag involved, which I
Yeah.
won't tell you about because I'm hoping that you've already seen it.
Yes.
Well, no, we give away spoilers because they should.
that's right.
They should have seen
That's true.
this.
They
Right.
should have
Right.
seen why I ought
No,
to.
that's what I loved about it. I started watching it, and then I went, "Oh, he's gonna be accused of murder," and then the twist, and I'm like, "Oh, this is great."
See, but it's a plot. It's a plot.
Yeah.
I admit I just saw it because of Paul, though. Jake Hogan, I'm friends with, and I think I told him I saw it years ago. So, but it was great.
Well, I'm sure he's not watching
Yes,
it
you
tonight.
know it. It was very funny, obviously, and I love the music. The music score is, it's the old time music. That
Yeah, like a sort of Bernard Herrmann kind
Yeah.
of score. And I watching it today again for the first time in a while. At the end, when's the last time you saw this in a movie? There's 2 credited songs at the end of the movie. There's usually, like now, it's like a huge scroll of all these pop songs, and there's 2 songs. That one was written for the movie by the Bare Naked Ladies, and the other one was that Bronski Beat song.
Yes.
When he's
Yeah.
in the brother's bedroom.
brother's bedroom.
Yeah, but I absolutely love this movie. I love that it did have a real story that that it followed. It did not deviate from it. It was a structured, silly. And I like that it had that that sort of Canadian that Canadian thing that is midway between the really absurd British stuff and the more slapsticky kind of American stuff. It's like a nice blending of those two sensibilities. Everybody's really funny in it. Jennifer Tilly is absolutely adorable in this movie. She's like, it was a pleasure to watch this again. Thank you for having me on the show.
Sure.
To give me another opportunity to watch this movie, which I hadn't seen in such a long time.
Now, is that your brand of comedy, generally speaking? Are you? Is that?
I think that's more my sensibility. It's like the stuff today. Not to sound too much like Milton Berle, but like the comedy today there's a lot of it's very like dude centric, and I'm not one of those dudes, so
very Dane Cook.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff
it's stoner dude centric too.
Yeah,
Well, it's very Judd
there's an
Apatow.
aggression to it.
Yeah.
It's like this isn't fun anymore, and this movie is really smart and funny, and that's definitely the stuff that I respond to more, than kind of gross out stuff or just really misogynistic or homophobic stuff that is just like, we all know how that's just funny all the time, and it's like, oh, not all of us. So, yeah.
I was going to say, somebody in the chat room is asking who played the cop. The person in the chat room asking is David A. Higgins, wants to know who played the cop. So
He was awesome.
Do you know? I can't remember I didn't look at
It's the
credits.
guy, I forget his name, he's Steve Higgins' brother. I think he was like the extra dude in the Higgins Boys and Gruber.
Yeah.
It was Steve
Wasn't
Higgins,
Gruber.
Dave Gruber Allen.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't Gruber.
And then
playing
the extra guy that they had.
Yeah. David Higgins in the chat room.
Yes.
Thank you for joining us. You started as the cop, obviously.
Yes. David Anthony Higgins, his professional name,
Yes.
plays a really like the laziest policeman in the history of cinema. A really, really funny role that he's constantly trying to expense everything and wants to give up on this case. And then every time he hears that more money is being thrown at it, he's back on board, going to see Broadway shows and it's
The Asian blonde woman.
Oh, and a thing that I forgot about the plot with Joe Flaherty as Jennifer Tilly's dad, who's the humble the bank
banker,
owner who's being terrorized by the farmer.
People foreclosing on your bank plot line.
Completely forgot about that.
I just love that.
Joe Flaherty's
I just love
Yeah.
that sight gag
So
with the picket fence. I kept wondering how long is that picket fence going to fall?
Yeah.
Is it going to go all the way around the house? Maybe around the house twice? And it was great. So there's visual humor in it, there's wordplay humor in it,
Yeah.
and again, I hadn't seen it, and I was really glad I did. It was really terrific.
I'm glad to hear that.
The running gag of, you sure that's a guy?
Oh
Girl?
my God!
That woman. No, it's a guy.
Yeah, people constantly misidentifying Dave Foley as a woman.
Scream.
No, here's the moment, and then we'll get to some online comments. But here's the moment when I knew this movie was going to be funny. The scene where Dave Foley goes into the office and sees the dead man, and he pulls the knife out of the dead man's neck, and then he realizes what's going on. He tries to put it back in the dead man's neck.
That really is a revelatory gag. Like the idea that he's trying to insert it back into the slot.
It's funny because it's what we would all do if we were in that situation.
Exactly.
You would think, I just disturbed. Oh, I know, I've got to.
That's what you would do if you just came upon a crime scene where a guy was stabbed in the neck. You would put it back in.
Absolutely. Why not? You've disturbed the crime. You've disturbed the crime scene.
After the show, Paul F and I are going to go kill somebody by stabbing him in the back of the neck just to see if you do that.
Plan.
Are you on that?
Yeah. But you're not going to know when you discover this crime scene.
Okay.
It could be tomorrow. It could be 10 years from now.
You watch. I'll put it back.
We'll see. All right.
I'll put it back.
Shall we shake on
You
it?
bet.
All right.
Absolutely.
A gentleman's bet.
Absolutely.
A gentleman's bet.
Yes.
Wow. All right, Mike. What's the haps on the interweb?
Well,
Yeah,
we definitely
Mike.
have people that want to Skype in and call in, but let me get some chat room questions first as Corey sets that up. S. Moncure, I always think that he should be wearing a monocle with that name.
That's Stuart Moncure, a longtime listener of our podcast, the
Yes.
IGN Digigods.
I think you answered this though. He just wants to tell you he loves the Pod F Tomcast. What
thank
brought
you.
you into podcasting, which I think you talked a little bit about.
I did. Asked and answered. Moving on.
Moving on. But I want to mention you loved it.
I'm glad.
I didn't want to skip over the loving
No,
part.
thank
I
you.
know you wanted that.
That's the only part I need to hear.
Ask this gent, says Chad Murphy, how he manages to wear a three-piece suit in LA without dying of heat stroke. It's not that hot.
Because we don't have humidity. But I'll tell you something. In the summertime, those are some tough days for a suit guy. Even with the seersucker or linen, it's still sometimes you don't want to be layered up. And I feel like I've really painted myself into a corner with this whole thing. And I wish I'd been a t-shirt dude sometimes, but too late. I've made my bed, now I got to lie in it.
Is there a story behind why the suits? Is it just something you like to do? Is it
I'm just a bit of a dandy. Since I was a kid, I always liked dressing up because it was like I grew up in a time when people on television wore suits and ties, so it was like that's what people in show business do. So it was like, and as a little kid, it was like putting on a costume, so anything that was like
Paul
that.
Feig says the same thing.
Well, he's insane.
Paul Feig talks about how he would always. He would always see pictures from the past.
Yes.
Everybody, even the grips and the gaffers and everybody wore suits.
That's right.
And he wants to have that where it always feels timely and important to be on a movie.
No,
And he still does.
Christopher Nolan does that. Christopher Nolan
he does.
wears
Oh,
a
really?
sport coat.
Just like
Sam
Stanley Kubrick
Raimi,
used
too.
to.
Mhm.
Sam
Sam
Raimi as well. Kubrick used to do that.
And because it's true, like I would watch, I would see video of old baseball games from the 40s and 50s, and people would get
All the
dressed
players
up
wearing suits and
in
ties.
suit. Yes, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
It didn't breathe very well though, so they'd get really overheated.
People used to wear suits when they went on planes.
That is
They
true.
used to dress up to
It
go
was an
fly.
event.
Yeah.
Well, they're idiots because you know what? Planes are uncomfortable.
Well, they are
Back
now.
then.
Not
Oh, boy,
yeah.
oh, boy.
You could smoke on a plane
Back
then. How
then,
fantastic was that? Being able to
yes.
smoke on a plane.
That's right.
Those were the good old days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lung cancer, that close was awesome. You can only go back to those days.
Here's
Turbo
a question. Paul, can we get a peek at those socks?
That's weird.
That's a weird question.
Here you go, fetishist.
Yeah, all right, we
How's
got
Oh, look at that!
Okay.
A little pattern.
All right.
Subtle pattern.
odd. And then
shamed
the
now.
real Tavi says, not really a question, but he's embarrassed to admit he has the poster of the wrong guy on his living room wall.
Hey.
Why is he
Whoa,
embarrassed?
look at
Embarrassed for
that.
that. That's pretty cool.
No. That's
He's part of a group. He doesn't want to be part of the group.
Come on, the real Tabby.
Look, the wrong guy. The movie has like cult comedy written all over it.
Wait a
It
minute.
really does.
Does he mean the wrong guys? That movie with Louis Anderson, Franklin Ajay,
maybe.
Richard Belzer.
Yeah, he's a little
a
embarrassed.
different movie.
That's a different movie.
Different
you should be
movie.
embarrassed about that one.
No, it really does. It has cult comedy written all over it.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and,
You know?
and
It has to be discovered.
I mean, and Jake Hogan was one of the writers on it, who is a Simpsons guy, and Frasier, and he's a very big TV
Absolutely.
comedy guy.
It's-
So
yeah,
there
yeah.
were really talented writers on it as well.
It's been on DVD for quite a while, since like 2002, I think.
Yes, I think so.
So it's not hard to find.
Yeah, it was made in '97. And a weird thing, because when I first started discussing this with Mike, I looked on Netflix and it was available on
Oh, yeah.
Netflix. And then like a day later, people were telling me, "Well, it's not on Netflix, so I guess I'll buy it. I guess I'll trust you and buy it." So I don't know what happened. I don't know.
No, because I got it off of
It's on
Netflix.
Netflix.
It's on
Yeah.
Netflix.
Did you get?
Elaine, you got
the
it off
copy.
Netflix, right?
I have it in my hand.
The only one. Oh, look at that!
There we go.
There it is.
Unbelievable.
Oh, maybe they only have a few copies.
Maybe those
Maybe
people
that's
were
the
liars.
copy.
We also put our Amazon link where people could have bought it through Amazon. We did have the Amazon
But
link
they're
up.
saying, they weren't saying like it was checked out at Netflix. You know what I mean? Like they were saying it wasn't on there at all.
Their Netflix is broken.
We got to get to the bottom of this.
Call Commissioner Gordon.
Follow the money.
Maybe we'll get a different sponsor than
Kogo.
Netflix. Not sponsored.
Go.
That is a joke that came up
hilarious.
on a podcast I did
I
recently.
love that. All right, so what's happening on the interwebs? Any calls, Skyping, tweeting,
Corey's setting up a
Facebooking?
Skype.
Invent something and tweet on it.
I think we may be ready.
Oh,
We're
look
going to
at
try
that.
the Skype, and then we can go back to the message boards where more people have things to say. But let's give the Skype a try.
Yellow.
Is that the little girl from The Ring?
Either that or a cat that's
No, we heard
being
something.
euthanized. I can't.
All right,
Come back to
I'm going to go to the message
We're
board.
going to the message board, folks.
Lady Diode, who always lands up writing and giving great reviews. Classic formula of misunderstanding, jumping to conclusions, and being in the wrong place at the wrong time. Even though this film is 13 years old, it manages to stay fresh with steady pace and effective execution. Wall-to-wall gags, great cast, team with, and she does mention David Anthony Higgins. I laughed a lot. The scenes I really chuckled at were the police doo-wop singing in the alley, which we didn't mention, but that was great. And the only question is whose face was on the Statue of Liberty? What? Wasn't it the Statue?
Oh yeah, well that Statue of Liberty is very specific looking. That is
Right.
true, and I don't know if that was meant to just look like a bad representation of the Statue of Liberty, or if it was meant to be, if that was some sort of in-joke.
She says it looks
that I
like
was
Nicolas
unaware of.
Cage.
Well, then, there you go. There's your answer.
Question mark. And on her scale, she gives it a 9.
No!
She gives it a 9
Out of a
10.
possible 10?
I hope so.
All right.
And one.
She could have given it a 6 or an 8.
And Stuart
a meh.
Moncure, who also was in the chat room just now, he also wrote on the message board as well. Stupidformovies.com. We have message boards for all movie fans. Big fan of Kids in the Hall and news radio, so anything with Dave Foley tends to be worth my time. I'm sad to say I heard little about this prior to Buy, Rent, or Burn, and I actually enjoyed how it took all the different elements of the innocent man framed for a crime he didn't commit, thrillers, and intentionally made it funny. So yeah, worth sight gag, so he loved it as well. So there you go. You have picked a great movie.
Look at
Sometimes
that.
why did you make us watch this? Is a lot of times, and everybody has loved this. So
Can you give me one name of somebody who made you watch an awful movie?
Don't do it, Mike.
no,
Don't call him on that.
Gruber did The Bank Dick, which is not an awful movie,
Oh,
but
wow.
nobody can find it at all.
Really?
You couldn't find The Bank
talk to
Dick
me.
anywhere.
Wow. I would think that
So
would be-
everybody was
You'd
couldn't find it.
Yeah,
Why would you say that? I
yeah.
couldn't find it anywhere. So that was really the big complaint with that one.
Way to go, Gruber.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. He ain't coming back. Not that he wants to. So do we have anybody calling in?
We're gonna try again.
Oh, thumbs up from Corey. You know what that means?
We have Sean Things on the line.
Sean Things.
Hello, Sean Things.
Hi, this is Sean Things.
It sure is. It really is. So did you watch The Wrong Guy?
It really is. I just had to say to Paul, my dad got me when I was younger, introduced me into Tenacious D when I was 12, and till this day, whenever me and my friends go into a bar, every time someone will walk in first, and then I follow the friends come in, and we say, "Ladies and gentlemen, Tenacious D," and they come.
I think your dad might be a little inappropriate. That is not that's not good stuff for a 12-year-old.
You know what? At the same time, he showed me Clerks as well.
Oh, that's even worse.
Yeah, really.
Oh.
Very permissive family you got going on there.
Wait, is your dad Kevin Smith?
You know what? Actually, he is. No. But he knew I had aspiring thoughts for film school, and I actually went to film school with Jason McIntyre that works on the show.
He's not here tonight.
Yeah. He's not here tonight, no. But also, Paul, I wanted to ask you about the voice acting. I really want to get into voice acting, and you did voice work on Aqua Teen. I wanted to know what that experience was like.
That experience was, I was asked by the producers of Aqua Teen Hunger Force to voice something for them. I actually did a Lost episode of Aqua Teen Hunger Force where I played a SWAT agent. This was after they had gotten in trouble for having light-up signs posted around Atlanta, I think, or maybe it was
No, it was Boston.
In Boston. And so they made a funny episode making fun of that, and then we're told, you can't put that on the air because we're still in trouble with the government. So they brought me back later to play a sort of combination angel and ghost that haunts Master Shake, since Master Shake has killed me by throwing a chunk of concrete off an overpass. And they got me to say things that I do not say in real life, like the just filthy stuff that is absolutely par for the course for that show, which I don't mind watching, but saying it was a challenge as an actor to get past my natural prudishness. But I go into a little sound closet in Los Angeles, and they're on the phone with me, and I just do the readings a bunch of times, and then a million years later, it's all put together.
That's awesome. That's great to hear. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, thank you for the call. All right, there you go. So,
I
Mike,
think we have one more
we have one
call.
more person queued up, right?
Give me 1 second.
Oh,
Well,
Corey.
he has to hang up and pick. It's old school.
Unbelievable.
I am
Can we tap in a
furious right
dial-up phone?
Exactly.
be
Wait,
great.
I
I do
hear
miss that
static.
sound.
It's nice, especially the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Caroline, no?
No?
Caroline, you all right?
Carrie.
hey!
Carrie, welcome to the show, Carrie.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Of course. So did you watch, by the way, say hello to Paul F Tompkins.
Hi, Carrie.
Paul F Tompkins, you are my favorite.
No, I know. Thank you very much, Carrie. Am I still? Did that ruin it?
No.
So
So now, did you watch The Wrong Guy, or are you here just to pay homage to Paul F Tompkins? Because you can do both.
Either one's fine.
Either one's fine.
mostly the homage part, yeah.
So now, do you live in Los Angeles?
Well, I'm from Los Angeles, but I'm actually spending some time out in the desert helping my father out.
The Gobi Desert?
Yes.
Wow.
How'd you guess
I'm so amazed that you just guessed
Stupid for Psychic Hotline is the next show we're doing with Mark as host.
Now, were you guys making drugs?
Yo, Burning Man ended like 2 months ago. You may want to come home. I don't know.
It's just gonna happen again next year. You gotta be ready. Have your drug booth ready to go. When the guy shows up in his loincloth, he's like, what, I have to wait for these drugs to be made? I'll take my business elsewhere.
I do have a question for Paul.
Yes.
How did you realize that you were that good at impersonating John C. Reilly?
I don't quite remember where that came from or why it happened, but I gave it a shot one time as a joke, and it made somebody laugh. And I am surprised to find that people think it is in any way an accurate impression, because I feel like if I were to call up a friend of John C. Reilly and do that voice, the response I would get was, "Who is this?" But I guess I feel like I am capturing some sort of spirit of John C. Reilly.
It's the essence.
Yeah, honestly, it sounds more like Pete the Puma from the old Warner Brothers cartoons.
Which was Stan Freberg who did that.
Oh, really?
Stan Freberg did Pete the Puma.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
There we go. A little trivia.
Now, what I would do is if I was that guy.
Perry Puma.
Was it Perry Puma?
Perry Puma.
Even more elegant
Yes.
than Pete.
Now, if I was really that guy, I would say to you, why don't you do this impersonation for everybody? I'm not going to be that guy unless
you.
the audience starts to cheer and laugh and go, but then,
You can't. No point.
Hey everybody, it's me, John C. Reilly. I'm just hanging out, talking about movies, and it's awesome. It's just awesome. Oh, 3 or 4, right?
Yes, exactly.
Make sure I have a bunch of lumps on my head.
You're doing a lot more impersonations, right? Before each show, are you still doing that?
I am still doing that. That's another one where I
new
feel
for
like
you,
I've
right?
painted myself into a corner. It's like
Right.
I'm running out of people.
But I was going to say, that's sort of new. You weren't doing that before.
No,
Were you
no.
ever doing impersonations? You just kind of stumble into it,
It was
recently?
I worked. I hosted a show briefly called Best Week Ever on VH1, and that I started doing a lot of character work on that. It was a pop culture show, and we would make fun of TV shows and stuff like that. And so I started doing. That's where I first did like the Cake Boss and Ice-T and stuff like that. And it just came out of that. And then when my friend Scott Ackerman started a radio show now, a podcast called Comedy Death Ray Radio, he said, hey, do you want to do the show sometime? You could be yourself or be a character if you want. And then I started thinking, well, maybe I could do that stuff that I only ever did once on that show before. And then I started really enjoying it, and now it's like something that I'm trying to develop more voices to do. It's like a thing that I just had never, ever done before that I'm finding that I really enjoy and might. I mean, like when I was a kid, I used to do impressions like funny kids do, you know, but I never applied it to anything in my act. So this is kind of an outlet for that now.
that is a marketable skill.
Let's hope so.
If you like making money.
Oh, I do.
Maybe you do. Oh, you do. All right, so that's a great celebrity try this at home recommendation. The Wrong Guy. If you didn't Netflix it, first of all, shame on you. But now is your
right.
chance, because you know what? It's not just funny now. It'll be funny in the future.
Yes, it won't stop being fun.
Evergreen.
It's evergreen.
It is available in other places, but I don't want to say because I know guys who wrote it and they probably get money if it sells.
True. That is
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
That is true.
I'll return the disc.
Netflix, yeah, because we want our friends to get hits
It's not
on
like
Netflix
it costs $1
and
million.
Amazon.
If you bought this
Support the
DVD, you're not going to be like, oh, now I can't feed my family this week. Just go ahead and buy it. It's a funny
Yeah,
movie.
we'll put the link up again, but it's on Amazon. I think it's like $9.99 on Amazon.
That's nothing.
And then we get a cut. We get like 10%. We get like 99 cents of that.
There
So
you
you're
go.
supporting us as well.
There we go.
Look at
That's-
that.
Be a
that pays
creep.
for, like-
So really, when you buy it, you're supporting the arts.
Yes. And it
It's our show. We are the arts.
It seriously is one of the funniest films I've seen in a while, and I agree with Paul. I can't find anything anymore that I like comedy-wise in terms of movies, and for some reason this slipped by me, and it was great.
Yeah, everything's like the same now.
Yeah.
It's all the same kind
the
of.
last one I
there's
remember
kind of
was
comedy at a
Groundhog
time.
Day. I think was the last good comedy for me. It was
Yeah.
like, other than that, but this was really good. And you should definitely try to get it, watch it, rent it, or even buy it as a stocking stuffer.
There you go.
There you go.
There you go.
So there's Celebrity Try This at Home, folks. There it is. Yeah.
Oh, Mr. Yuck.